The views expressed are not necessarily the views of the station. None of the advice given is intended to replace professional medical advice. Please consult your local physician and other healthcare professionals for your specific healthcare and/or medical needs or concerns.
Hello, thank you for joining us. I'm Dr. Tracey Wallace, and this is my wife, Dr. Debbie Wallace.
Welcome to True Health Doctors.
Today we're continuing our discussion on obesity.
Did you know that the World Health Organization has now said obesity, and particularly childhood obesity, is now the #1 threat facing the whole world, not just in America. In America, we have childhood obesity rates that are going 2 and 3 times what they were just a few years ago. So we're really concerned about this because, of course, if children start off being more obese, then they're more likely to have other diseases start at an even earlier age. For instance, diabetes. We used to call type 2 diabetes, which is adult onset diabetes, but now even children are getting type 2 diabetes. And of course, that becomes a real problem because if they then have to have amputations of the leg and so on, they become disabled. And guess what? We pay for disabled people. So the amount of cost involved with childhood obesity on the rise as it is, healthcare costs is going to become something we cannot afford. So we got to do something. And you know what's great about this though? Obesity and childhood obesity is preventable and is reversible. That's the great news. This is something we actually know how to treat. And we can do it. This is something we can do. We can get a hold of this, but we're going to have to take some steps to make this happen. It's not going to happen if we just sit back. Because you know what? There's some other people involved in this. And sometimes people don't realize it. When we look at, for instance, how increasing rates of obesity have been over the last few years, it's not suddenly that we suddenly, over the last 10 years, like food. We suddenly like to eat. Then why is it that suddenly we're eating so much and we're getting so obese?
We live in a calorie-rich society. We are eating and consuming more calories than we ever have before. When you look at what we used to eat back in 1950s, like for example, the French fries in 1950s, small handfuls. Now it's a very large amount, 600 plus calories. When you look at popcorn, back in the 50s, it was a small little box. Now we have these 21-cup jugs of popcorn that's being given out. And the question is, did we just suddenly become more greedy or more gluttonous in the last 30, 40 years, or has something happened? And I'm telling you, something did happen. It's called scientifically engineering, meticulously manufacturing food so that it is more palatable, it is more craveable than ever before. Food science has gone into creating food that we just want to eat more. Most of us have probably had this experience. We eat one, we only wanted to eat one, but then we ate another one, and before we knew it, the whole bag was gone. What's that about? The food is made in such a way that it hits pleasure centers in the brain. We feel good when we eat this food. The food also stimulates pain centers, so people will eat food and have less pain. So what's going to happen if you're eating food that makes you happier and gives you less pain? You're naturally going to eat more. And you're not eating for nutrition, you're eating because your food makes you feel good. But it goes deeper than that. You see, the food that's manufactured today is different. It takes less effort to chew the food that we have today. You go back 40, 50 years ago, you had to chew your food 25, 30 times before you could swallow it now. The food today, after 10 chews, you can swallow it. It melts in your mouth. What are you likely to do when you have food that melts in your mouth? But it goes deeper than that, because the food that we have today is calorie dense. You can have a small little piece of something like that, put it in your mouth, swallow it in 4 or 5 chews, and you've got 200 calories in you, and you don't even feel like you've eaten anything. The more natural foods, like vegetables, you eat 200 calories of broccoli, you know you've eaten 200 calories of broccoli because you're full. But we have high-density processed foods. So we have food that makes you feel good, we have food that's easy to chew, and we have calorie-dense food, and we have an obesity epidemic.
That's it. So, folks, we're going to return. So we've been talking about what we should not be eating and what's going on with our food, because yes, there's someone else in your kitchen. There's something going on with the food. But we can take control of this by preparing our own meals. You know, it doesn't have to be a very difficult thing. And you know what? You actually save money preparing your own meals also. It's not as time consuming if you are preparing healthier foods and doing less cooking and less processing, eating more fruits and vegetables. Actually can save you both time and money. So we're going to tell you what you should be eating. You should be eating, remember, a full diet, right? So you feel full. Remember, F for eating fiber-rich foods. Again, those come only from fruits and vegetables, plants that give you fiber, and that's what gives you the feeling of fullness, or satiety, as we say. So looking out for high-fiber foods, such as whole grains, eating things that are plant-based, those are the things that are going to fill you up. Eating unprocessed foods. The more unprocessed, the better for you. Because in the processed foods are many things like salt, because that helps to preserve the food and can stay there forever because of salt. But we know that can lead to hypertension and other problems. So again, when you eat too much salt, you drink too much more and you have problems with edema and so forth. But decreasing the amount of salt in your diet is also good. That's the L for lowering salt and sugars in your diet. Again, sugar is not good for you. So if we don't add sugar to things, again, we're not going to have a problem. But if we're buying foods where almost everything processed, you look on those labels, one of the ingredients is high fructose corn syrup. That's sugar, folks, and that's bad for us. In fact, that's one of the biggest problems right now. Most of us who have children, I know, I struggle with that. Almost everything they eat has high fructose corn syrup, and this is a problem for us. So we got to watch that, low in sugar. And also the other L is low in fat and cholesterol, because again, fat and cholesterol can lead to things like heart disease and strokes and cancer. So we want to lower our risk for that. So, you know, it's not as hard as it may seem. You will be able to eat a very healthy breakfast, for instance, you know, and still be able to eat a good lunch and eat a small supper. That should be the goal. Don't wait till the end of the day to eat most of your calories. That's what most of us do, and that's what's very bad about the American diet, is that we eat most of our calories at the end of the day. We need to eat most of our calories early in the morning so we can burn it off all day, because that's when your body is actually breaking the fast. That's the one good word in the English language, is break fast is actually breaking the fast. And that's what you want. You get your body going. It's unfortunate that a lot of people don't eat breakfast and they don't break that fast, and they eat later and later and eat their highest calorie at the end of the day. That's not good. So it's not just what you're eating, but when you're eating it too, that's important, okay? So get most of those calories in your breakfast. You can eat a healthy breakfast. Now, a healthy breakfast is not the continental breakfast. It is eating things such as, again, whole grains. Cereal is good. Again, milk can be good if you're using non-animal type, such as soy milk or almond milk or other types of milk that are plant-based. These are better for you. And then having some, you know, toast with simple things such as peanut butter and so on can be healthier for you. Eating beans, baked beans. Again, getting more calories in our breakfast, that is our goal. Okay, then eating a light lunch and eating a very light to no supper at all. In fact, you don't have to have a third meal. 2 meals a day is actually good for a lot of people. A lot of people are doing well with this. But if you want to eat smaller meals, I'm cautioning you. You can eat smaller meals, and some people feel that's better for them. But the danger in that is that you end up eating too much calories. At the end of the day, you've eaten so many small calories, they all add up. So be careful of that. If you're going to eat more meals, make sure you're eating smaller amount of calories. Now look at what a typical American diet, breakfast, lunch, and dinner looks like. You can see that you can eat this and you will have a lot of calories. But look at what a plant-based breakfast, lunch, and dinner look like, and look at the difference in the calories. Now, you don't have to count calories because, again, if you're eating that full diet with more plant-based products, you're going to see that they're lowering calories automatically and lowering fat. So you will be able to attain and live a healthier lifestyle just eating this kind of diet.
We'll be right back after these messages.
Hello, welcome back. We're here with our special guests, Shanika and Gerald Wesley, who are going to tell us about their experience. I know you've had some long-term challenges with weight, so share with us some of what you've been through.
Well, my weight challenges started as a teenager. Before I got into sports, I was chunky. I had to wear pants. I don't know if they even still make them, but they were called Husky. And I used to really not like it. And my mother would just go right to them in the store. And when I wear them to school, the kids would see, I mean, the tag was like this big on the back, and it would say Husky, and the kids would be like, hey, Husky, you know, and so I would try to tear them up, you know, go play in them, mess them up, say those pants are no good, you know, and she'd buy more. And so I started playing football, and the weight just came off, and then I stayed pretty good until I got to college and started eating and, you know, living a whatever you want, eat lifestyle. And I got kind of a little big again, lost that, got married, and then the weight really packed on. And my college friends was like, man, you are big. and I said, no, I look pretty good because I was looking at the mirror from the straight way. But one day I was in the restroom and I saw myself from the side. I said, oh, man, you've done it, man. And so I still didn't really change anything diet-wise. And I was driving and eating a lot of fast food, mostly
fried chicken.
From this gas station.
Of
because it was ready, it was already done and hot, and so
refried over and over.
Yeah, we found out they were refrying over and over again. And so one day I was moving really slow and I felt bad. I thought I was just under the weather, and I just kept getting literally slower. No matter how much I tried to energize myself, I would get slower and slower.
Curious, what did you see that you said, he's going to the hospital? What did you see?
Well, it started, I said, let me just start giving him the chicken noodle soup, the egg drop soup. Since he's feeling under the weather, let me just try and, help him to heal faster. And we're in our working years, so the children, they were at home, and they were like, what's going on with Dad? He doesn't have any energy. He's not throwing the football with us or spending time. So I said, it's not like him. And once he ate the soup, and he was just getting worse. So I said, today is going to be the day. And I looked at him. He was in sweats and just, he wasn't himself at all.
Yeah. Do you mind me asking, how much weight did you get up to at this point? Do you remember any idea?
It was close to 300. It was
275.
275, okay. 280. It was. I definitely saw 280 once.
Yeah.
That scale could have been wrong, though.
No, it wasn't wrong. The scale wasn't wrong.
So I went to the hospital, and they started just moving around. And first they were checking my vitals, and they started scrambling and moving really fast, and took me upstairs.
No, they broke open a pill first, and they put it under his tongue because his pressure has skyrocketed so high. And once his pressure skyrocketed, the pill didn't even get the pressure down to where it needed to be.
You had to be scared.
I was a nervous wreck. I mean, he thought I was crying before we walked through the door. I was really crying because they were moving me out of the room, and I'm like, what's going on, and they wouldn't talk to me at all. So They got him upstairs, they undressed him, they did the EKG to his heart, and his heart rate was at like, what, 20%,
Yeah,
10%?
they said I had congestive heart failure, and my heart rate was below 25%. And so I said, what's the exact number? And it's like, well, when it gets below a certain percentage, we stop counting.
Oh,
Yeah.
And I never heard anything like that before. I'm like, no, this is different, you know. And they brought a team of doctors in, and they were telling me that the different scenarios. And I said, well, I don't feel that bad. And it actually got worse when I was in there to where I couldn't even walk.
So my husband's a fighter,
Yeah.
and he's determined. He's very positive all the time, and I'm looking at him like, okay, keep the faith, and I'm happy that you're, you know, you're cheering yourself on. But this is serious, you know. And I'm like, you can't leave me now because we have these 4 children we're trying to raise, and I want to travel with you. So I'm like, you know, just stay positive. But at the same time, I'm praying like, God, please just heal him fast, you know. And I don't want to be a selfish person, but I'm like, you bless me with this man, and I just want to live a long life with him. And the team of doctors, they basically gave up on him.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, they were talking to her, and I could hear them mumbling in the hallway. And so I asked the nurse, I said, can you open the door? I said, don't listen to them.
Yeah,
You know?
he's yelling out the room, don't you listen to them. You just go home and just pray. And I'm like, no, I'm listening because this is, they know what they're doing. And this is Emory, you know, one of the best hospitals around. And they said either he will, as a black man, either he will have to change his diet, he will have to.
Well, that wasn't even on the table. I said, we said we would change our diet. They said, no. They said, you're going to probably need a heart transplant, or you might not even be able to get that. It just was not anything good.
Nothing positive.
No, not at all.
my goodness.
Not at all.
Wow.
And then he said either people, they will heal from it, but they'll never completely heal. Either he'll pass away really soon. And I was like, no, he's not going to pass away.
And I was trying to tell them what I was eating, but they didn't even equate what I was eating to what I was going through. So I knew that she didn't even know how much chicken I was eating from this particular gas station.
But not only was it chicken, he was in a competition with some of the guys that were driving, and they would drink these Red Bull drinks.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
He had drank like, what, 2 drinks a day, 2 of those Red Bulls a day?
No, it was a lot more than that because, you know,
well,
it
see,
just,
I didn't know.
just keep going.
You see, I really didn't know that.
Yeah. She would just find 2 cans. Many more. And so between the energy drinks didn't work good for me.
Yeah.
And the chicken, it tasted good with the sodas, the
refried chicken.
But the 2 together was a very dangerous combination for me. And so I knew right away why I was there. They weren't listening to me. They said, no, this is far beyond what you're eating for lunch. But I knew that what I was eating was contributing to this in a major kind of way.
So, well, we have to take a break right now.
Okay.
Right now, we have you hanging between life and death, but clearly it all worked out.
Yes.
We'll be right back after these messages.
So, what do you think are some of the things we can do to prevent obesity?
Work out.
What do you think?
Go on walks.
Take less hormones out of the food.
Okay.
Drink lots of water.
Yes.
Stay hydrated.
Very important. Very true.
Well, we're back with Mr. and Mrs. Wesley, and we kind of have a cliffhanger going on here. You're in the hospital. They're giving you little hope of any kind of recovery, but clearly it worked out.
It worked out.
So what happened?
As soon as she got me home, when I stayed in there for about a week and a half, 2 weeks, and every day was the same thing. Basically, like, you're still here? And I don't mean like here because, you know, the doctor hasn't released you. Like, you're still here. And so
And you're a young man in your 30s, correct? Wow.
And so once she got me home,
No, we didn't go straight home. We went to the farmer's market.
Yeah.
I said, because we're going to, everything that's in that house, we're getting ready to just revamp.
Yeah.
And we're going
Okay.
to change your entire diet.
Wow.
So there's no more fried chicken. There's going to be no more beef, because at that time we were eating lots of beef. So I just wanted to just revise our entire, I don't want to say diet, but our eating lifestyle. I just wanted to change it completely. Not only for him, but we're raising children, you know, so we want the children to get into the habit of eating healthy as well.
And she researched and found out more than the doctors did.
Oh, yeah.
Because they never said, hey, do this, do that, and this is going to fix this. They did give me meds, and I'm good with that. I take my meds.
Because they're tools. And we got onto that, the treadmill, 30 minutes every day.
Because we sit down and drive, you know, and my wife, Shanika, said, it's the sodium. I mean, she woke up, I don't know how early in the morning it was, but it was very early, like 3 in the morning, and she was like, it's the sodium. Whatever she was reading and research, she said the sodium is holding your water.
Your body is retaining that
because of the
water
sodium.
and
And my ankles were swole up, which they every day came in and pressed my legs, checking for fluid.
Exactly.
And so the sodium.
Yeah, and I said, since this heart is a muscle, we're getting ready to tone this muscle up.
And they told her that you couldn't do that.
Yeah,
It's
it
not
was like
this
he can't.
muscle.
Yeah, he can't work out. It's not gonna work, and so we've been working it.
As soon as I got strong, I mean, because she worked me. She had me on a treadmill. I feel like Rocky. And then I'm telling you, and then I went back to the hospital because I wanted to show them that I changed everything and how strong I am. And I was passing them up in the hallway just because I couldn't walk before in Emory.
Okay.
Yeah.
He couldn't, and the very doctor that really just gave up on him, he looked at him as if like
He had no
was,
answers.
Yeah, he thought he was seeing a ghost,
Yeah.
and he wanted to know, what did you do to reverse this thing, you know? So we just sat down and talked with him. So I started telling him, listen, black man, you have to eat more vegetable. You have to work out, no matter how you're feeling, you have to work out. And that's the regimen that we use to get him back to health.
I mean, that's just amazing. That's just a wonderful story. But you have some of your own challenges, did you?
Yes, I did. Only because I had a back injury. I started to gain so much weight because, and I packed it on right in the midsection area. And once I had that injury, it was really hard for me to just get up and work out and do some of the things that I would normally do. And I enjoy yoga. I enjoy walking, running, things like that. But this back injury just had me all messed up. And it was my L3, well, it's my L3 through S1 that gives me problems. And with him being the husband that I have been blessed with, he's like, you can do this. Come on, you know, get it together. So I decided to start this group for women. It's a plus size sorority.
She was going to Zumba and going places, but she would stop the classes. And I would like take pictures. I was always a little picture guy for her and take pictures. And she would stop the class and be like, hey, excuse me, hey, that's too much. And I'm like, hey,
because of the pain. I mean, with the pain and all, you know, I was limited on the things that I could do. So they will see me walk away and, you know, they're wondering what's going on. And just the pain, I couldn't bear it.
She was walking out and she was like, we modified it for you. She said, that's not modified. So she started her group and her own routine.
Yes.
They were truly modified.
And it's for plus size women, you know, because women come in all sizes. And as I mentioned, the things that we're dealing with, from the back pains to the knee pains, it affects you and it causes you to gain weight. So we just started this little group and we get together, and I think it helps to boost the self-esteem of the women, you know. So it's the no judgment zone, and I let them know you're not alone, you know, just come on out and let's do the yoga, let's do the working out, and they really enjoy it. So that's my story.
Oh, wow. That's just wonderful.
I mean, you both have truly been an inspiration, both of you, and just to have you here looking so well and looking so healthy after what you've gone through.
And honored to be here.
It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you
very
so
much.
much.
Thank you. Thanks.
We'll be right back after these messages.
I hope today that you've been inspired as you heard from these wonderful people, the Wesleys, as they shared their experience. Again, be careful what we put in our mouths. I mean, fried chicken and beer, that's a recipe for gaining a lot of weight. Those beers, very high in calories that are empty calories. So another reason to watch out for what we're putting in our mouth. And you know what? It's very important that you watch Biggest Winner. They're going to be a part of this. And you will be inspired even more as you watch them, as they take others and themselves through the journey of losing more weight on Designer Lifestyle Biggest Winner shows. We want you to stay tuned for that.
I hope today you've been informed, inspired, and empowered. And we'll see you soon on another episode of True Health Doctors.